Uber, Bitcoin, self-driving cars. Combine those three together, and you have the self-owning taxi. A car that is a corporation that owns itself, pays for the car lease, the car insurance, and the gasoline from the revenues it makes, giving passengers a ride, and there's not a single human involved in that matter.
Seen throughout this year, multiple geopolitical events have transpired on Saturday or Sunday. The traditional markets are closed. Bitcoin is 24/7 global and liquid. And so people do sell what they want to sell. Now, we see that stocks are down this morning, and I think that many assets will get sold when people are able to sell those as well. But also, I think that a core function of Bitcoin is not only the accessibility, but it is the volatility. And what you're seeing here is that people are reacting, whether it's positive or negative. Bitcoin just moves more. And ultimately, if you look over the last 90 days, Bitcoin's up 15%. And it's up over 50% in the last year. So I think Bitcoin investors are very happy that they're continuing to see volatility.
I just think that the overriding theme of the past 2 months, though, has been cool inflation and more dovish comments coming, at least from some members of the Fed. That's what Bitcoin wants, isn't it? I mean, a rate cuts, QE, anything that increases the number of dollars out there. The big beautiful bill is going to add how much? I mean, all these things seem like they're playing right into Bitcoin's wheelhouse. It was up to 110,000 from where it was at 17. 2 years ago? 17,000. It wasn't that long ago. So it's come a long way, but it is. And you can't look at it the way I'm looking at it.
If you think about that volatility, Bitcoin was down, $75,000, $76,000 just a few weeks ago.
Right.
We're back up over $100,000, and so again, it's the volatility of Bitcoin is what is attractive to a very large audience of those holders. But also, I think that the large pools of capital now realize that it is big enough for them to allocate to, and that's where you're really seeing kind of this adoption both on Wall Street and at the nation state level. And I think that's only going to continue.
And that's going to be for the original reason, and that is as an alternative to fiat, and there's only 21 million. Because stable coins based on the dollar, if they're real and have 102% backing with treasuries or however they want to do it, that could, seems like, base put it on Ethereum or whatever you put it on, that could take the usage case away from being a big benefit for Bitcoin, couldn't it? If Bitcoin was stable, get up to, let's say it gets up to $1 million a coin, which I'm just.
Well, Bitcoin is stable. Bitcoin is stable, right? One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, and I think what you're seeing is the Bitcoin dominance.
I know, but you don't want to use it necessarily. You don't want to buy a pizza that's worth $1 trillion in 10 years, so it's not being used for that yet. You could use stable coins the same way, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, I think what people are doing is they're saying, I want to hold the things that will be valuable in the future, and I want to get rid of the things that aren't going to be valuable in the future. So they're literally selling the stablecoin. They're saying it's not going to be valuable in the future, and they're saving and holding the thing that's going to appreciate in value, which is Bitcoin.
Okay, so those are different usages then for Bitcoin. Bitcoin ever become the way that transactions are done around the globe instantaneously?
People already do that to some degree. I think it'll continue to become more and more popular.
But the question is, in a stablecoin world, does it erode the value of Bitcoin in that regard? Meaning to the extent that people want to be able to move money from place to place to place?
Yeah, well, I think
that's part of the argument about what Bitcoin's able to do.
I think right now we still live in a dollar-denominated world, and so people are pricing the assets in dollars, and so people are going to spend the dollars to buy those goods. As you see more and more organizations start to price things in Bitcoin, which is a big if, but if that happens, then you will see Bitcoin become the medium of exchange, because now what you're doing is you're taking away that exchange rate or that volatility in dollar prices.
The grid. And whether Iranian hackers will be able to get into grid sites, both for electricity and others within the United States, and create some chaos, low-level chaos, but disruptive chaos.
Well, that's a very real potential. I've said that cyber is the battlefield of the future. It's the battlefield of the present, really, because you can use cyber, putting a sophisticated virus into our computer systems that operate our grid, that operate our security systems, that operate our financial systems, that operate our government systems. And if you destroy those computers using that kind of sophisticated virus, you can virtually paralyze a country. So the potential for a cyber attack is very real. and Iran does have cyber capabilities.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we had Pomp on CNBC. The geopolitical events dumped crypto. And now we're seeing crypto get a comeback. But guys, we know Bitcoin and crypto is going to take another pullback going towards the end of this week because we have futures contracts ending. So we received a dump last weekend, then a slight pump, and now we're going to be pulling back going towards the end of the week. And then also, don't forget in stocks, next week, only thing you have to do is look at the calendar, especially if you're part of my stock Patreon. You'll see why stocks are going to have a big pullback also at the end of the month. And will Bitcoin be used as a currency? We already see governments like China and Russia have already transacted in Bitcoin. Remember, the governments across the globe get their Bitcoin for free. And remember, the Crypto Teacher tells you, but your ordinary spending is definitely going to be stable coins. And what the drums are beating, the media is already setting up the narrative of cyber attacks. And we know they're definitely coming. All this technology is going to start moving in on the back of these drums. And all you have to do is pay attention to the media's narrative. And don't forget, Trump had already set up the narrative that these immigrants, a lot of them are criminals. So the boogeyman narrative has been set up. And with the Iran conflict, eventually China is going to come in. Eventually China is going to go after Taiwan. Russia is going to then step in. And then we know the drums get louder. And while everybody's distracted on the drums are beating, the NWO is going to start building. And that means the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And I told you on several occasions, I do not see Trump finishing this full term. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Tesla launching driverless cars in Austin, Texas. And don't forget, Waymo is in New York City. Waymo has already set out the blueprint. It's not even about Tesla. It's about Waymo. And if you can map out New York City, we know you can map out anywhere, and you'll get a flurry of all these cars on the road. And with driverless cars, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, you have a business that don't need a human involved. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Because he knows, when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Able to get a message to President Trump while he was at the G7 last week, warning that if he got involved in Israel's attack on Iran, that they would activate sleeper cells here in the United States. What exactly does a sleeper cell? What is one? What are we talking about?
That kind of cell is a group of individuals that have made their way into the United States, and they may be at one location or they may be at several locations, but they are communicating with each other to try to determine whether or not they ought to activate and whether or not they ought to, in fact, conduct any kind of terrorist attack. So it's hopefully our intelligence, our law enforcement operations are aware of some of these cells, can track them, be aware of them, and try to be ahead of any effort to try to conduct any kind of attack within the United States.
But they are still a risk on the cyber side, are they not?
That's absolutely correct. Iran has been building up their cyber capabilities for a number of years, and they are on par with other nation states. They very much leverage their cyber capabilities very similarly to what we do here in the United States with Cyber Command, a direct extension of military force. And so DHS recently released an advisory along with CISA, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency, around private sector corporations and government entities to be on high alert right now for these cyber attacks. And what's really interesting about cyber attacks is that there's really been no red lines ever drawn. It's kind of a loose playing field. So Iran can inflict some pretty substantial damage here in the United States, specifically, in manufacturing, supply chain, retail, critical infrastructure, things that can disrupt our normal day life that cause pain here in the United States, and really not be seen as crossing that red line of loss of life or direct military force as it goes along. So we're all on heightened alert right now. And my advice to private sector corporations is to be at high alert right now from a defensive perspective, because we are anticipating some retaliation from Iran, specifically from their cyber capabilities.
Yeah. Taxi service in Austin over the weekend. Our Deirdre Bosa digs into what it means for this increasingly competitive race in autonomous. Hey, Dee.
Hey, good morning, Carl. So Tesla robo-taxis are finally live, but in reality, they're still in demo mode. They only operate during the day in good weather in limited areas with a human driver. Not a human driver, a human monitor riding up front in the passenger seat. Now, that hasn't stopped the stock from surging today. As usual, the Promise is doing a lot of work here. But by contrast, Waymo, this is the real non-theoretical autonomous leader for now. It was last valued at $45 billion. It is buried inside of Alphabet, where investors are focused on whether search is about to be displaced by AI. And yet it's already delivering more than 250,000 fully driverless rides per week across multiple cities. And it continues to expand aggressively. Amazon Zoox, meanwhile, it's worth mentioning, it's still in testing, but it is quietly emerging as another challenger with the backing and the blueprint to catch up. It's even less visible with no clear indication where it sits within Amazon's financials. So while Tesla continues to get all of the attention, take a look at this analysis from Morgan Stanley. Waymo currently has the largest autonomous fleet in the country, and it's on track to operate in 5 markets by year end. MS estimates that could grow to 30 cities and nearly 18,000 vehicles by 2030. Now, Zoox isn't there yet, but it is laying the groundwork fast.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. We will, and if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team Save the Village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team Save New York. From COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Team goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.